So you see him like every morning get up at 5 a.m. thinking he's going to exercise, and he doesn't. He has the alarm goes back to like 9. And eventually you get to play him and just kind of hear his inner monologue as he runs around his apartment looking at different things and like basically trying not to go up to the roof and jump off the roof. And so little things will happen, like his mom will call and say like, "Hey, you want to go to dinner this weekend?" And then he'll be like, "Do not jump off roof." Check. So just, like little things that you can kind of see where his mind's at. I only got to
Yeah.
play the demo so far, but yeah, it was a pretty primitive game, but just the dialogue made it entertaining and ironically sad.
Yeah. I like games like that.
Yes.
I played last night. I played Gods Are Watching. I think that's what it's called.
What's that?
It's this sort of pixel game in which you have to survive 40 days. It's one static screen. Everybody's going crazy. You're on an alien planet. Sometimes you get infected with viruses, and you have to hunt for food, and you have to repair a radio. But everybody is slowly descending into madness, so you have to talk to them and get their psych up, and it's a really cool game. Yeah, I like games like that that are sort of based on, based less on events and more on sort of interpersonal or intrapersonal relationships.
Definitely. And this is one like kind of makes you think, but at the same time it's humorous. It's hard to deal with the topic because it's so serious, but
Yeah,
you don't want to make light of it then make it not important, but at the same time you can't just go around like actually depressing people that aren't depressed by playing your game.
yeah, and I mean, imagine if they tried to do the exact same thing with murder. I mean, that would be terrible.
What it's like to be a murderer, like the inside of a murderer's mind.
Yeah, it's just, I
I
can't
think
think
that's
of a
like every
single
Grand
game.
Theft Auto game I've played.
I think that's literally every game I've played. Last of Us, Bioshock Infinite. I think every game I've ever played, I've only played a murderer. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
you
is
could
the default setting, isn't it?
in literally every game, if you just switch your perspective to the people you're trying to kill, you're just this monster that comes in and wrecks everything for your own gain. And
Well,
you're like,
not
what are you doing?
not always. I mean, sometimes you have like a moral compass there. You're trying to accomplish something, but you always will make a mistake that it's not. You always have to make a decision. Oh, you're cute.
Yeah, yeah. I closed the door, and he's really mad. I don't know why. I built a cat room for him. There's now a cat door inside one of my doors to another room so that he can go in there and eat and hang out. But no, not good enough. Gotta be in
He's
here.
like, why does it have to love me? God, can't it just stay outside the door by itself?
He just wants things. I don't.
Nice. Okay, some more stats about this. There's a doctor of psychology. His name is Douglas A. Gentle. He's a professor at Iowa State, and he basically says that he classifies this as though things in tandem, like flu and pneumonia. Sometimes you will get pneumonia because you have the flu. It's sort of a byproduct of one or the other. And he's kind of classifying these two things, video games and depression, in a similar way. Like, once you get pneumonia, you're at risk for something else. If you have depression, if you play a video game, you're at risk for depression. Or if you have depression, you're at risk for
At
playing
risk
video
to play video
games.
games, yeah.
I feel so vulnerable to video games right now.
Oh no! I just gotta resist. No.
No. Yes, and I guess that's kind of the thing that I would think addiction is kind of probably a byproduct of depression because if you're playing, I mean, me personally, if you're playing MMOs because you need that just little bit of, okay, you did something successful, you feel better about yourself, or hey, you're all alone and there's people to talk to, you're going
Yeah.
to get addicted to the easy sell instead of actually doing something about your real life because you can get that feeling from something virtual and it takes a lot less effort. So basically this documentary was kind of saying video games are good if you're depressed in like doses of time, like small doses if you're going through it or, but not over long stretches of time that are going to basically just take your life away.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that seems pretty reasonable. It's the sort of feeling of accomplishment that you get whenever you complete, say, a quest in an MMO. I mean, it's a lot duller and it's a lot less rewarding than if you do. I don't know if you get a promotion at work or if you complete a big project you've been working on or you do something that people compliment you on in real life. At the very least, that's been my experience.
Do you think so? I don't. That's awful.
For me, if I complete something in a video game, like, I mean, even if I beat like a really hard game, I'm like, That was really great, but it doesn't compare to whenever, say, I put out a video on the internet and even one person that I don't know is like, "Hey, I really like your video." I'm like, "Oh my God, that was way better." Way better because I put in so much more thought and energy into that. Whereas playing a video game is, I mean, my thumbs are moving and my mind is kind of working, but it's not really working. So, I mean, it feels more rewarding to me, and that maybe again ignorance on my part. It may just be that people the feelings are comparable. Is that your experience with that?
I think it's because you're playing single player. Like, I can completely understand that. If I play a single player game and I accomplish it, I'm just like, check. I'm glad that I don't have that on my pile of shame anymore. But if you're playing like a group thing, it's this whole, synchronicity of effort, especially like, I can only really speak of World of Warcraft raiding or different other MMOs where you're raiding, where you have to like research stuff and you have to know the fight, and then everybody has a job to do and you have to work together and everybody has to be successful at it and good, and then you beat this thing like collectively as a group, and there's that whole sense of, wow, these are real people. It's like in work, I would imagine, if you have a team and you just like, maybe you're an advertiser or something, you sell something awesome. It's a similar feeling because they're real people, and I think that's why. I think just by
Okay.
myself, like in a game, like, oh, you got the sword of truth. What be day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I don't play a lot of MMO games like that. I don't play a lot of games, period, like that. I can maybe Counter Strike competitive. Like I can. It's about the best thing that I can relate to, because if you know the map and you're calling out to your teammates and you're like, okay, I'm watching Dust 2 double doors. I see 2 going B. You need to have somebody over here. Somebody drop the bomb by the car. 2 go long A. I'll go cat. And yeah, and you work together to get these call signs going, and you're chattering with one another. And yeah, I can understand that. But yeah, I don't know. Games really, for me, there's been like a really big divide between games and real life, and I don't know what that's attributed to. But I mean, if even if I'm playing, a game with my friends, I mean, heck, I've been playing Cube World for the past 3 days with my friend Sean. We've both been power leveling one another and, dropping off items to one another and going and checking out new lands. And I mean, we've played probably 16 hours together. And I mean, we've killed some crazy high level bosses for how tough we are. And still, I'm just like, oh man, well, that was tough. I guess we got to go back to town. Go check this stuff out. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm sleepy.
Really? You feel like that with Team Fortress? You were really excited about killing that bush. You
It
don't
was
feel
so
accomplished
fun!
when you set that
Well,
bush on
and that's-
fire?
while it's happening, it's really good, and you feel something really good about it. But the sense of accomplishment afterward for me is like, well, I killed somebody who thought it was a good idea to be running around a map as a bush. Like that. I mean, anybody could have done that.
Okay. Well, that's good though. That's a good feeling. I mean, you don't want to feel the same correlation between a virtual machine and your real life. That means
Yeah.
your life is good. That's a good thing.
The birth of my firstborn child is equated somewhere above beating Mario Galaxy, but definitely below beating Fallout New Vegas, especially with all the glitches and everything. I mean, it's sandwiched right in the middle there.
You gotta have priorities. Yeah. I think that I didn't see this necessarily in the documentary that they had, but for me and people I know, for me in particular, I know that you can use that, like that MMO experience or whatever it is, to kind of kickstart. I hate that word now because it's like a site. Jumpstart your life into something better. Like you can look, and for me, looking at my character, I had at the time it was a level 60 rogue named Tentacle, and I was just like, wow, this character is so cool. She's got daggers and all this stuff. My life sucks. My character's cooler than I am. I can't have that. So that kind of made me get my life together and say, like, guess what? That cannot be. I cannot have a tune that's cooler than me. You know?
That's a really cool story. I had no idea. I thought you just started off as cool as you are right now.
I
I
said,
didn't know there was like a process to it.
"Oh, you're so
Crazy.
nice." I'm now a black belt and a weapons instructor because I'm like, hey, this rogue is too cool. I can't have this. I need to at least be able to do this stuff.
That is cool. Like I've got like a master's degree. That's my only thing. Like, and that's not hard to get. It's
Like
really
your mind
not.
is cool. That's okay.
Your weapons, your black belt that's cool. Like that took time and pain to do. Like mine just took money and being stubborn, really.
It's still accomplishments, both of them, but I think you should use games for that. Like I can't take it when something I'm playing and I'm putting all that effort into is not even real and you don't put that effort into your own life. I just think people need to have that perspective. But that's hard to come by. It doesn't happen right then if you're depressed.
Yeah, and I mean, even the worst thing is people can tell you that. I mean, if you saw somebody in the exact same situation you used to be in, and you sort of tried to dump that nugget of wisdom on them, that may actually work against you. Like I've found that so many times where I've seen people. And I'm like, I have been where you are. You just have to stick it out. And you have to do like try doing these things. If they don't come to the sort of epiphany and realization, if the elements just don't come together in the right way, it's not going to impact them in the same way that it did for you. And that's really sad because you're like, this is the solution that got me out of the hole that you're in, and to give them, and to throw down, a ladder to them, and they're going, I can't climb that ladder. I don't have any arms. You're like, oh, I'm so I had arms. I didn't know. You know?
Exactly. Everybody's different. I mean, I find myself surprisingly intolerant of people that are in similar situations than I've been in the past. And it's a bad, bad trait. Like I'm just so impatient and frustrated with you, even though I've been there.
Yeah.
It's a very bad trait to have. I would not be the
Yeah. I
person
mean,
you would come to.
and I can't, I can't say that I'm not guilty of that either. I mean, my sister is probably one of the most irresponsible and frustrating human beings that I know. I love her to death, but I mean,
Is that because
she,
she's your sister? Because I think I felt that way with my brother too. Or is it
yeah,
seriously because of her issues?
yeah. I mean, she's just a mess sometimes, and a hot mess at that. It's just, but sometimes, I mean, she's bipolar, and so whenever my parents told me that, I was really young. I don't even remember how I was, probably a teenager, and I remember them telling me, she's got this bipolar disorder. She has mood swings, and she's up and she's down, and she has depression, and I was like, I don't know what any of this means. I don't know why she can't just get over it. I mean,
Ah,
if her life sucks and she's unhappy with it, why isn't she putting in the work to fix it? And that
exactly.
occasionally, I look at her and I see her situations and I try so hard to really understand where she's coming from, and a lot of the times it just doesn't work out. And I've been trying, I really have to try to relate, and I don't know, whatever it is that she has in her head that is, that's putting her logic onto a different path than mine. I can't see that other path, and so I can't understand it. And that frustrates me because I'm like, she will come to my parents' house, and my parents are like, I don't know why your sister's not social. She just sits on the couch and is on her laptop the entire time. Like, we're hanging out with her daughter and you, and we're going out to go do stuff, and she's just taking naps on the couch, falling asleep upstairs, then getting on her laptop and not really talking to anybody. And when she does, it's generally gossip. And I'm like, yeah, why doesn't she just come to do the stuff with us? But there's something that's not appealing about that to her, and I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
So the entire depression thing is something that it's not only is it difficult to understand, but it's difficult for me to grasp. I mean, I understand gravity. I get it. There's mass, things are pulled to each other. I get it. Um, I don't get how your mind can open up pathways to make you make less healthy choices for your life, and you don't have control over that. That's something that I've never experienced and that I never knew even was possible before recently.
I wonder if these games, I mean that I assume that's the point of the game because it's really difficult, to explain that experience and you almost have to give somebody that experience, which I assume is like the reason these games are created, although they can't really touch on it. I mean, it's like very weird because your emotions don't have any correlation to what's actually happening
Yeah.
in your life. Like the worst day you've ever had, you'll be going along and you're just having a great time, and then suddenly you feel like that awful feeling of, oh my gosh, my life sucks so bad. And then like a couple hours later or days to you'll be fine again. And you're just like, what? It, smile, correlating emotion, frown, correlating emotion. Doesn't happen like that at all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
I've got a friend that just I remember, we will go out to TGI Fridays occasionally because that's like his favorite place to eat for whatever reason. Um, and so I mean, this was before like his boyfriend didn't live down here. My girlfriend didn't live down here, and we were both two friends that were just alone in the city. Like I had no friends at work. I had no friends outside of work.